Здравствуйте, друзья!
Good evening, friends! You are watching the Global Mutual Fund weekly newscast. My name is Maria Savinova, and today news block. Manifesto of the Financial Apocalypse. MMM participants summarize the results of the system's newspaper distribution. Participatory citizenship. The MMM participants hold protest pickets outside the Eastern District of Moscow Prosecutor's Office. Branded delusions. The head of the All-Union Center for Public Opinion presented a claim to the ideologies of MMM system. East Business, East Perspective. Development team promote MMM in Asia actively.
А теперь об этих и других событиях более подробно.
And now let's talk about this news in details. The first stage of the advertising campaign in the distribution of the MMM newspaper on the streets of the Russian capital have finished. The aim of this campaign is not only to inform Russian people, but also attracting mass attention, gain hearts and minds of readers. Watch about the newspaper manifest in our correspondent material.
People take newspapers and they do it consciously, because we notify them about what is it and who the author is. This issue consists of 13 articles written by the MMM ideologist on the 4 pages of newspaper. Font, design, semantic load of materials focused on the word lightning and on the foundations of the Global Mutual Fund. The issue gives us a detailed answer to main question: who we are and what we can. The mass media named it is a manifest of financial apocalypse newspaper version, and the MMM community told that it is a daily book. Participants themselves define the essence of the first free newspaper simpler as all the true about MMM and in MMM. And this slogan is said by all promoters. Distribution campaign of the system newspaper began 10 days ago. This process was compared by the participants as a roll wave through the streets of the metropolis, or even as a MMM bombing. Such effective was the action, despite the fact that it involved a little more than 100 people. Moscovites got addressable in hands about 15,000 newspapers in 5 days.
We have developed a scheme for the distribution of the system newspaper in such a megapolis as Moscow, and this scheme will help us to carry a high organization level in future. We do the main emphasis on the place and time. The place is a metro station of the third ring, and the time is the beginning and the end of a workday. At this time, the maximum amount of contingent is present on the streets. The newspaper distributes at an incredible rate in peak hour.
The organizer of this action were the activists of the MMM guard system in the name of Andrew Kim. Such quick distribution of the newspaper proves the great interest of the Russian capital residents to MMM system and to the person of Sergei Mavrodi.
During the last week, the MMM activists made series of pickets under the slogan "Manifest Your Civic Position." Activists protested against the law enforcement inaction. They demanded to prosecute the killer of Andrew Kim. This time, the MMM activists hold pickets near the investigation department of the Eastern District of Moscow and prosecutor's office of the Eastern District of Moscow. Such place was chosen to make the Russian Themis has felt the public control over the murder investigation.
There was a series of kicks, and in result the man was laying still, not after an hour or 10 minutes, but at the same time.
The activists are outraged that the police released the killer on his own recognizance the next day. They guess that such loyal attitude to the person who killed the man is unacceptable. It also became clear the criminal case is still not opened.
Today, 25th of October, we held a series of pickets.
Activists expressed their protest not only on the posters, but they also have voiced it to those who are not indifferent to this issue.
I disagree with the injustice that we have in our country.
Activists also have protested and organized pickets in the vicinity of the station Sholkovo, where Andrew Kim was killed. Capital citizens also supported the civic attitude of the activists.
He must be punished for sure.
Activists of the Global Mutual Fund consider that everyone has to show his civil attitude to make street murders not a simple phenomenon. They themselves are going to protest as long as the authorities will not hold impersonal for the public investigation of the murder. A month has left on the 25th of October after the start of the MMM India structure. This return has caused quiet delight from the local population, and Indian activity grows day by day, in spite the police obstacles from various states. High positive dynamics, as the structure administration says, made it necessary to extend the functionality and introduction of a number of bonuses for activists. A month has passed since the resumption of our work. The number of participants wanting to help much more than those who want to receive it. That is the beginning of the first news on the MMM India website. Due to high positive development dynamics, administration announced the defrosting of another part of the old Mavra to the sum of several tens of millions of rupees up to 250,000 of rupees for one account. Another innovation is the introduction of advertising expenses. Any activists of MMM India who had showed initiative can get the compensation. The compensation is based on credited Mavra to the account of organizer after the promotion and video report about it. This will help the participants to develop the system more quickly and get appropriate encouragement.
System develops very well not only in India, but also in other countries of Asia, as Indonesia, Bangladesh. As we expected, all the Asia stands up through the India. Now we became to make promotion campaigns and many things we do online.
According to unofficial sources, MMM India collects more than 400,000 of participants. Struggle against the financial slavery expands rapidly. Almost in every big city, people hold rallies and pickets, and the ideological production spread work becomes more actively. New offices are opening. Our next material is about these freedom fighters. The cube construction finally has reached the city, which is often called the Gates of Caucasus. Rostov-on-Don citizens became participants of the promotion activity named the Cubic Power, which was held on the main street of the city.
We will continue the same campaign. We plan coordination of a new next picket on the next week. As long as the weather allows, we shall put the agitation cube and will agitate people.
Voronezh activists continue the practice of the flat agitation. Despite the specificity of such advertising, they persist in their attempts to attract the inhabitants of the city in the fight against the financial slavery. Flyers, which they distribute in posters and mailboxes, help to facilitate their work. Ukraine explores the new elements of outdoor advertising side by side with the numerous cube actions and wide-scale flash mobs. Distribution of booklets and flyers is not limited only in big cities. Activists of districts and provinces also participate in activity. Practically every day, the news blog of the official website is filled with the reports from the Ukrainian backwoods. And the Global Mutual Fund Direction suspects that their contribution to development is no less important. An important step is a public consultation office opening in Kyiv. Such assistance was made for those who want to participate in MMM but do not have internet access or the technical skills to work in the system. New office became a foothold for the future development of the system in this region and also as an organized center for its participants. Office members assist people quite round the clock.
Here is our reception. Here is all the symbolic connected with the Sergei Mavrodi and the MMM and fully equipped workplaces.
In spite of the visible activity and ubiquity of the promotional campaigns, Sergei Mavrodi expressed his concern about inaction of the overwhelming majority of participants. He had noted their infantilism and encouraged everyone to come off the sofa and the TV and do something for the development of the system.
Because you cannot just take and take. There must be any returns.
Now about the other news. Mass media are actively discussing the nuances of video messages of Sergei Mavrodi to the participants. As it turned out, many of government officials and directors of commercial structures also have a habit to visit the official website of MMM. Recently, the head of the All-Union Center for Public Opinion grudged against Sergei Mavrodi for his mention about AUCPO, the head of which suspects it untouchable. Whose brand it is, let's look in our correspondence material.
The official reason of the disturbances was the information presented by the AUCPO, according to which a group of citizens, but rather the MMM activists, tried to find the opinion of the other Russians about MMM, presenting themselves as sociologists. Such potential developments a priori extremely offended the head of agency, which arrogated to itself the right to conduct professional sociological polls. About this, he has notified the public of the website of his agency. Here he accused Sergei Mavrodi in illegal intention to use the brand name of his agency and called on citizens to be vigilant. Commenting on this situation, we would like to give an official advice. Do not heavy on the chest. The fact that MMM is a brand, everyone knows it and nobody will argue. But the statement of the head of AUCPO that the name of his organization is the brand brings a smile. 80–90% of grown-ups will not say what this abbreviation means. Therefore, Mr. Fedorov claims to Mr. Mavrodi are at least baseless. Nevertheless, Sergei Mavrodi operatively commented the words of a head on his website.
And where did you get the idea that I was talking about your organization? I just said the abbreviation and have not decoded it. In this regard, I tell you that I have meant another organization, not the All-Union Center for Public Opinion, but the World Opinion Research Center. There is such an organization.
It means that it is the only social organization which belongs to the government. As we know, every center of public opinion in the world lies. This is despite the fact that they are performing official commercial orders and they get money for the results of the briefing. And who pays the piper calls the tune. And this organization is not exception.
The Asian community of struggle for financial freedom is not far behind colleagues from the CIS countries. The last week was full of public events and charity campaigns. More details in our next article. Hold regular seminars and charity events for development team of MMM in Asia is not just a tradition. Activists have got the taste and cannot stop now. Their dedication to the MMM is so great that it has become the meaning of life. Over the past month, series of seminars, which traditionally ended with lotteries and charitable actions, were held in a number of cities of Indonesia and Bangladesh. As activists said, on some such lotteries, people had got prizes as motorbike. This is the most popular kind of transport in this region. In spite of the independence of activists from Indonesia, Russian activists hold regular webinars for them, where they talk about technical moments and share experience. With the help of such webinar, Bangladesh hold a big action when a local orphanage have received clothes, where many children had not clothes at all, and the fact that they were wearing barely fit under this definition. According to estimates, totally was donated about 500 t-shirts. According to local residents, such actions they have performed very rare, and rarer the government helps them. In this regard, local radio carries information about MMM very quickly to the other regions. This is all the news for today. I wish you happiness and good luck. Goodbye.
Мы можем многое.